Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of the Pondcast. My name is Draconis, and with me today is Guren.
Yo.
And today, we're introducing a new series called The Deep End, where I take some theories that I've come up with based on all the information that we've been given through official sources, and present those theories to my fellow Pondcasters to see what they think and get their feedbacks. So, starting off, we've come to a brand new generation. We are all foaming at the mouth, waiting to see what Pokémon Company and GameFreak will announce about this particular game called Scarlet and Violet. We're going back to colors, which is great, but if you notice, the logos look a little different. There's people who are speculating on different things. Not going to comment on those theories that have already been announced and talked about, because honestly I don't feel like I can add anything to the conversation. However, there has been a topic that a lot of people have been discussing, trying to figure out where the fire starter fits the Chinese Zodiac. And one of the theories that I've come up with, I've talked about a little bit, but I haven't actually full-on discussed, and that's what this episode's going to be about. Just some theories about Gen 9, and to kind of get gears turning maybe in a new direction. The whole thing about Fuecoco is people are trying to figure out if he's going to fit the ox bull part of the Chinese Zodiac, or if he's going to go serpent like the way Snivy did for the snake portion of the Chinese Zodiac. Looking through the internet, though, I've turned around and I found out that the Mayan Zodiac has the crocodile as one of their emblems.
Oh?
Mm-hmm. So, if you know anything about South American history, the Mayans were tied somewhat to the Spaniards. Since we are going to be in a Spain-based country, it's possible they might have pulled a little bit of information from that connection of South America. And the crocodile is one of the horoscopes, from what I've been able to find. So, the Mayan Zodiac, the crocodile, is the first day sign of the Mayan day design. It is also known as Imix. I hope I'm saying that right. And it symbolizes new beginnings and new potential. Reading that and knowing that the Firestarters have always followed a Zodiac got me thinking that what if Game Freak and the Pokemon Company decided to put a little spin on what they've done with the Firestarters. Generation 9 is the first open world Pokemon mainline game that we're getting. Official 2-pack game that has fit the mold from the very beginning type Pokemon game. Mm-hmm. And it's something that, although we have wanted for the longest time, we've never truly got until now. So what if, not only because they're trying this brand new way of creating this game, of presenting this game, what if they decided, let's mix it up a little and change what Zodiac they're running from? Fuecoco, being a crocodile, would fit not only the Zodiac, but what that Zodiac stands for.
I think that does sound pretty good, because what you said earlier, like the crocodile was like the beginning of the Mayan Zodiac, and then it does represent like the beginnings of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that would be pretty good too, because like it's literally Gen 9 is basically almost like almost kind of like saying that, oh, this is a brand new game, we're starting something new with, like, possibly, and from what it looks like, open world Pokemon game.
A whole new world.
That's good. But yeah, so I can definitely see it, because they kind of had something like that too with Gen 5, right? Maybe not the Pokemon, like any Pokemon that's related to it, but in general, in Gen 5, they literally kind of had like a soft restart by having only the Pokemon in the Unova region being available at first. So I wouldn't put it past them to think, oh yeah, this is a brand new game, open world. This is going to be kind of a brand new, fresh start for us again.
That's kind of where I was going with this. Like, I'm just trying to sit here, trying to do some research, because I love mythology and I love naming my Pokemon after mythological creatures. So when I was looking up things I could name Fuecoco when I get one, I came across this. So I started reading a little bit more into it, and it kind of made a little more sense to me just because of that connection. I mean, again, it's just a theory. I'm literally just trying to see why or how they would choose a crocodile for this particular starter when they could have done an actual snake or an ox or a sheep ram. I mean, there was a rumor a while back called Pokemon Lock and Key, and they had a fire steel evolution called Capsicorn, which would have fit the sheep for the Chinese Zodiac, but that didn't happen. So now we've got people who are basically split between whether it's going to be bull ox of the Chinese Zodiac because male crocodiles are called bulls, or if it's going to go the route of Snivy to become a complete serpent, which I don't see either of one of them going that way. I know Pokemon will shift as they grow, but they normally stay within the same species line. So the fact that they've called it a crocodile, I'm seeing this is going to be a quadrupedal Pokemon, and it's going to be a crocodile. We're looking at something along the lines of Feraligatr or Crocorock, those particular mons. I don't see Fuecoco going any other way.
It does seem kind of hard to see it that way too. Because like usually once you see a bipedal like Pokemon, it usually stays bipedal or something like that, right? Like it doesn't really change. They don't stray too far at all when they make their Pokemon designs. Most of the time, anyways.
I mean, Pikipek going into Canon, yeah, that's kind of a shift between the three. Pikipek, Trumbeak, and Toucanon, but they're still birds.
They're still birds.
They're still birds.
Wasn't expecting a toucan, that's for sure. Though.
Yeah, the toucan was weird. Toucan was weird, but you've got Cyndaquil into Quilava into Typhlosion. Yeah. It started off as a mouse. It ended up like a weasel, but they're still in the kind of similar tree. They didn't stray that far. I just don't really see this thing fitting either one of those two positions, and that's why I decided to look into it and see what else was out there, and I came across the Mayan one, which, again, Mayan, Spain, there's a connection there. So why not run with it?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, they're still, if anything, it's like what you said earlier, they're still following a Zodiac. It's just not the Chinese Zodiac.
Them opening up to a more global Zodiac and keep the community of speculators on their toes. So from there, like, what are your thoughts? What do you think? Am I just going crazy again?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think that's a good idea because you're not wrong. If they keep staying with like the whole Chinese Zodiac thing, then people are going to be able to narrow down their thoughts, right? And there's going to be like no element of surprise anymore. And then and by that point, because like GameFreak is just not going to have like that whole wow factor anymore. Like it still does, like whenever they drop a new game, right? The fans are going to be all over it. But if it's going to come to the point where it becomes predictable, then like, that hype might just die down a lot, or maybe over time it might just decline by a lot. So I do like how you're saying too, like by doing like Zodiacs from different parts of the world, it makes it a little bit more inclusive for those countries, because if anything, more than half of the Pokemon generations were already based on things from Japan. Or like regions in Japan, I should say. And there wasn't too many where it was outside. I mean, sure, we got like Gen 5 in New York. We got, Gen 6 with France. Gen 7 was Hawaii, but that's still kind of like US territory, so to speak. And then Gen 8, now we have like a European region. Oh yeah, so maybe about half. So half of the time it was all in like a Japanese region. I think taking that step to say that we're gonna have this crocodile fire starter is a good step for them. It's saying like it also shows that they're not afraid to break out of that mold, and that this is indeed also a fresh start. So let's start with something new. In this case, crocodile fire starter.
Now that being said, I'm also gonna go ahead and just give my prediction of what our final evolution typings are going to be.
Okay.
I think everyone is right. I think we're going to see a fire ghost type for that ghost pepper, because let's face it, I have to jump on the bandwagon on this one. Fuecoco looks like a little chili pepper with a little skull in its face, so I can definitely see the ghost pepper type evolution. So it'll be like this ghost pepper crocodile. In Spain, they have a lynx, the Iberian lynx, So I can, if you know anything about lynx, lynx can't. They're a smaller cat, predatory cat. They can't take down big game the way, say, a lion can. So they have to use stealth and basically hide in spots where their prey doesn't know that they're coming, and that's when they strike. To me, the only typing that would fit this would be a dark type. So I'm thinking grass dark type for Sprigatito, which would also give a slight advantage to Fuecoco being ghost fire. Dark is strong against ghost, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's where my theory goes a little sideways, so just bear with me. Quaxley looks like a little sailor duck. I think that's the general consensus. He looks like a little sailor duck. So Quaxley is going to evolve into a water fighting type. There aren't that many to begin with in the game.
True.
And fighting type is strong against dark types.
Which is what we had which is what you said for Sprigatito.
So what you're looking at is the whole rock, paper, scissor concept, but flipped backwards. So the water type has an advantage on the grass type. The grass type has an advantage on the fire type, and the fire type has an immunity against the water type. So you have to use one of the two typings for those Pokemon to work against the other, and it plays a bit harder when you're trying to knock the other one out. It adds like another layer to the meta, so to speak. Because, and the reason why I went water fighting is because it looks like a little sailor. Sailors, if you look at a lot of the older movies that whenever they're depicting sailors, they like to roughhouse. They're rough. They're tough guys. They're used to being out on the sea, that with the sun beating on them all the time, and they get to port. They're finally blowing off some steam, and a lot of times when a fight breaks out, who's usually fighting? The sailors.
Again, we also have Popeye. Yeah.
Oh god, I can't take the fact that Quaxley's gonna look like Popeye.
Can you imagine if he quacks like how Popeye laughs?
No, just a corncob pipe just coming out of nowhere.
I'd be down for that. Maybe not a pipe, but maybe they'll have something like similar.
But I mean, the only time the typings ever got screwy was in Gen 4, where Torterra has the grass ground typing, which not only did hard damage against Infernape's fire type side on the firefighting typing, but was also effective against Empoleon's steel side. So, in that generation, Turtwig had the advantage on both of those. The only exception is that I believe Turtwig was the slowest of the three. So it had to survive, but it resists fire, and water doesn't really do much for it. You'd have to use an Ice Beam attack, which means that even though at 4 times damage, Empoleon doesn't have stab.
No stab.
So it's going to hurt, but it isn't going to hurt as bad. And I think that GameFreak may actually try something like this time around with the typings, allowing the subtypings to be the difference. Because what was it, Gen 7, you had the subtypings of Dark, Psychic, and Fighting. Psychic was strong against Fighting was strong against Dark was strong against Psychic. I'm just basing this theory, and it is just a theory, on just observations. I mean, I don't really I'm just trying to think of other ways that we can discern. I mean, I thought they were going to do something similar for Gen 8, but they turned out to be nothing but pure types, which we hadn't seen since Gen 2. So I mean, they could decide to do it all over again, but I'm just saying that I'm just thinking that if they wanted to do something different, this would definitely be different.
If you weren't going down like the routes of like the whole Ghost Start fighting thing, I was kind of hoping, like first, like I don't know, this is just visual thinking obviously, but like I was kind of hoping like they would go down the path where the Pokemon would have its second typing would be what they're strong against, so to speak. Yeah, instead of something that they're like weak against, so like, fire like Fuecoco would be fire grass, and that would fit into the whole like thing where I think it is a chili pepper, so maybe it might also become a fire grass type kind of thing. We can have a water grass chat, and then we could have a water fire duck or something, you know, so that it's not just like that. Like that would be like wishful thinking for me, but that would also be kind of cool as like another like triangle that we could do, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's anything is possible, and at this point, I've come to the conclusion that even if it seems so far-fetched, no pun intended, that it would that it wouldn't happen, it doesn't mean that GameFreak won't do it, because at this point I think they're kind of hitting a wall where if they introduce the same old thing, they're gonna get a riot. I mean, seriously, Fuecoco goes firefighting. I'm pretty sure about 90% of the Pokemon community will turn around and start blowing up Twitter, and Masuda will never get an ounce of sleep for the rest of his life. But them doing a fire water typing, okay, well, that's different. That is new, you know, fire grass typing. No one would see it coming. So I would definitely think that that's a possibility.
This is true. This is true.
And with that, we're going to close off this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my theory. Let me know what you think. Am I onto something, or am I totally crazy again? Let me know in the comments below. Share, like, subscribe. Let us know if we're doing a good job. And hopefully we'll see you again next time. Thank you. Bye.
Otsu Guren.
See you next time.